Jesus never spoke a single word of Greek in his entire ministry. Not once. Every parable, every healing, every whispered prayer left his lips in a language that has almost vanished from the earth. And somewhere between that upper room in Galilee and the leather-bound book on your shelf, something was lost that no translator ever tells you about. One word. A word so central to his teaching that he repeated it more than any other word he ever spoke. That word was not heaven. It was not a place above the clouds. It was Malkuta. And once you understand what it actually meant, you will never read the words Kingdom of Heaven the same way again. You have read the phrase Kingdom of Heaven 1,000 times. You have heard it in sermons, printed on banners, sung in hymns. But Jesus never said those words, not in the language he actually spoke. Jesus of Nazareth lived and taught in Aramaic, the everyday tongue of first-century Galilee, not the formal Hebrew of the temple scholars, not the Greek of the Roman elite, when his words were later carried into Greek, and then into Latin, and then into English. They passed through the hands of empires that needed a kingdom to mean something far away, something you waited for, something only priests could unlock for you. But the word he actually spoke was Malkuta. Pronounced Malkuta, and Malkuta does not mean a golden city in the clouds. It means reign. It means dominion. It means a sovereign power actively ruling and manifesting right now, in this moment, through you. This is not a small detail. In the ancient Aramaic tradition, a word was never just a container for meaning. It was understood to carry vibration, weight, and living force within the sound itself. When Jesus spoke a word of healing, he was not simply describing an idea. He was releasing a frequency into the body and the atmosphere around him. To speak Malkuta the way Jesus spoke, it is believed, in this understanding, to awaken something ancient, inside the one who hears it, something that has been sleeping since before memory, something many teachers describe as reconnecting with our original design. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 17, Jesus is asked directly when this kingdom will come. His answer stuns the religious leaders standing in front of him. He says it is not something you can observe from the outside, and it is not somewhere you travel to reach. He says, plainly, that it is already within you. Read that again with the word Malkuta in place of kingdom. He is not describing a destination. He is describing a dominion that is already active inside your own being, waiting to be recognized and spoken into motion. This changes the entire architecture of what you were taught to wait for. Malkuta, sovereign power, already reigning within you, not a reward you earn later, a force you carry. Now, once you understand Malkuta as a living force rather than a distant location, every parable Jesus told begins to read differently. He said the Malkuta is like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds that grows into the largest of trees. He was not describing agriculture. He was describing how a small, quiet recognition of the sovereign power within you expands until it shapes everything around you. He said the Malkuta is like levain hidden in flour, working invisibly until the entire loaf is transformed. Again, not a story about bread, a description of an inner force spreading silently until your whole life reflects it. This is why Jesus so rarely spoke to crowds without also pulling his closest students aside to explain what he truly meant. The crowds received the parable. The inner circle received the mechanism. And the mechanism was always the same. The Malkuta is not something that arrives from outside you and rescues you. It is a dominion that was placed within you from the beginning. And your task is not to wait for it, but to recognize it, to speak it, to let it govern your thoughts, your fears, and your actions instead of the opposite. Think about what it would mean to actually live this. Most people move through their days, ruled by anxiety, by scarcity, by the belief that power belongs to circumstances outside their control. Think about what it would mean to actually live this. Most people move through their days, ruled by anxiety, by scarcity, by the belief that power belongs to circumstances outside their control. But if Malkuta is real, if a sovereign dominion truly reigns within you right now, then every moment you hand your peace over to fear, you are abdicating a throne that was never meant to sit empty. You are the one meant to reign inside your own experience. Not tomorrow, not after death. Now, This single reframing dismantles centuries of teaching that told you the kingdom was something to be granted to you if you behaved correctly. It was never a gift waiting on your obedience. It was a dominion already installed within you, the moment you were formed. And there is something else, something even more remarkable, hidden inside the exact pronunciation of this word, something that connects it directly to healing, to authority, and to a teaching Jesus gave that almost no one has fully understood. We are only beginning to uncover it, and the best is yet to come. In the next chapters, you'll discover what could change everything for you. Because once you understand that Malkuta is a dominion, not a destination, you have to ask a harder question. A dominion needs a ruler. If the sovereign power reigns within you, then who exactly is sitting on that throne? This is where JESUS's teaching becomes almost unbearably direct. And it is also where organized religion has worked hardest to soften what he actually said. In the Aramaic understanding, to declare Malkuta was to make a claim of rulership, an assertion that this territory, meaning your inner world, your thuits, your body, your circumstances, answers to a specific authority. And Jesus taught HIS students, again and again, that the authority meant to govern that inner territory was never meant to be fear. It was never meant to be shame, or the accumulated weight of every failure you have ever carried. The authority meant to reign within you was the same loving, generative force he called the Father, the same force he said HE was one with. This is why his healings so often began with a question rather than a command. He would ask, "Do you believe this is possible?" HE was not testing faith as a checkbox. He was asking whether the person's inner Malkuta, their inner dominion, was still occupied by doubt, or whether they were ready to let something greater govern that space instead. A body ruled by fear cannot receive the same instruction as a body ruled by trust. The territory has to change hands first. Consider what this means for your own life right now. Whatever inner territory you have unknowingly handed over to anxiety about money, to grief that never resolved, to a wound someone else caused you years ago, that territory is still yours to reclaim. Malkuta was never a promise that your life would be handed to you perfect and finished. It was a declaration that the ruling authority within you can change the moment you decide it will. Jesus demonstrated this every single time he healed someone. HE did not beg an external God to intervene from a distance. He spoke as one who already recognized which authority governed HI's own inner dominion, and he invited others into that same recognition. This is the part of the teaching that the institutions who followed him could never fully control, because a person who reclaims their own inner throne no longer needs an intermediary to access it. There is a moment in HI's ministry where this becomes almost impossible to soften. JESUS stands before religious leaders who are furious that he has claimed unity with the divine, and rather than retreating, he points directly at Scripture they themselves accept and asks them to explain why they are so disturbed that he has claimed sovereign authority within himself. He was not asking for a special exception. He was demonstrating what he wanted every listener to eventually claim inside their own Malkuta. This is the part of the story religious institutions have spent centuries trying to keep quiet, because a congregation that understands its own inner dominion is a congregation that no longer needs permission to approach what it already carries. There is no priest required to unlock a throne that was never locked to begin with. There is no ritual capable of granting you access to a territory that has been yours since before you had language to name it. And this is precisely why the word Malkuta matters so much, and why its correct pronunciation was never a minor linguistic footnote. Say it slowly with me. Malkutaf, in the Aramaic tradition, sound itself was believed to carry the imprint of what it named. To speak this word correctly was to activate the very reality it describes. A sovereign dominion, already reigning, already yours, already awake beneath the noise of everyday fear. Think of everything. Every anxious thought you have ever battled was, in this understanding, an attempted coup against a throne that already belongs to something greater within you. Every moment of stillness you have ever felt, however brief, was a glimpse of the rightful ruler stepping back into place. Jesus was not describing a future utopia. He was describing the present moment, available to you the instant you stop treating your inner world as ungoverned territory and start recognizing the authority that was placed there from the beginning. This teaching is the foundation of everything that follows in HIS ministry, the healings, the parables, the confrontations with religious authority, all of it rests on this one recovered word. And there is one more layer to this word, a layer connected directly to how you carry it forward into your own daily life, that changes it from an idea you understand into a force you actually live inside. Right now, you may be discovering that the original Aramaic teachings of Jesus reveal a completely different way of understanding abundance. If you'd like to go deeper, you'll find our complete study guide through the link in the comments below. Here is what almost no one tells you about Malkuta, and it may be the most important part of this entire teaching. A dominion is not established by a single declaration and then forgotten. A throne left unattended does not stay occupied. This is why Jesus did not simply announce the Malkuta once and move on. He returned to it constantly, in nearly every teaching, in nearly every healing, because he understood something about the nature of inner sovereignty that modern life has almost entirely erased from our awareness. It must be renewed. It must be spoken, recognized, and lived again and again, or the old rulers of fear and doubt quietly slip back onto the throne while you are not paying attention. This is why his most repeated instruction to HIS followers was not a single prayer to be recited once. It was a way of living, a continual return to stillness, a continual redeclaration of who governs the inner territory. He would withdraw to quiet places alone, away from the noise of crowds, and there he would restore HIS' own connection to the authority he called the Father before returning to HIS work in the world. If Jesus needed this rhythm of return, so do you. Consider how much of daily life quietly hands your inner dominion over to something unworthy of it. A frustrating message, harsh comment, a fear about tomorrow that has not even happened yet. Each of these moments is a small, often unnoticed, surrender of Malkuta, and each one can be reclaimed the instant you notice it happening. This is not about pretending difficulty does not exist. It is about recognizing that difficulty does not have to be handed the throne. Malkuta, sovereign dominion, reigning now, reclaimed the moment you remember it belongs to you. We are just scratching the surface of this ancient power. Get ready, because in our next video, I will reveal even deeper Aramaic codes that unlock spiritual authority you've never imagined. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss this unfolding revelation. So how do you actually carry this forward? Not as an idea you agreed with for 20 minutes, but as something that reshapes how you move through your days. Each morning before the noise of the world reaches you, sit in silence for a few quiet minutes and speak the word. Slowly, Malkuta, Malkuta. Let it settle in your chest before you let it settle in your mind. As you speak it, bring to awareness one area of your life you have unknowingly handed over to fear, and simply notice it without judgment. Then speak the word again, this time as a quiet reclaiming, a reminder that this territory was never meant to belong to fear in the first place. Do this again at any point in the day when you feel your inner ground slipping. A difficult conversation, a wave of anxiety, a moment of doubt about your own worth. Pause. Breathe. Speak Malkuta once. Malkuta Hash Sovereign Dominion reigning now. And let it be less of a magic phrase and more of a return, the same way Jesus withdrew to quiet places to restore HIS' own connection before continuing HIS work. This is not a one-time prayer. It is a daily practice of remembering who sits on the throne of your own inner life, and gently, patiently, placing the right ruler back there whenever it has quietly slipped. Just a quick reminder, the transformation guides for a fuller life are waiting for you, right there in the comments. Before you leave, if this message touched your heart or brought new understanding into your life, write the word restoration in the comments below. Your testimony may encourage someone else who is seeking healing and renewal. Thank you for sharing this moment of ancient wisdom with us. Until the next revelation, walk in peace, walk in freedom, and walk in the power of Biopa.